Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenist. I am back with another video. So once again, I am bored out of my skull and I decided to do another video. So in today's video, I am going to be talking about a question that I asked people on the internet, especially on Facebook, especially to people that lives in Italy, because my question comes along in Italian on their end of the net. And so I decided to ask a question that had been on my mind for some time, and they answered it very well, and I was very happy with the answer. So last month I did a video response to folkism in Greek religion, or folkism in Hellenism, or Hellenismos, because that seems to be an issue with a lot of your ethnic religions. People will decide that their religion is closed, even though the religion is dead, had been dead for quite a long time. And so you have this belief that because my blood is from, my ancestry is from ancient times, that I have the right to worship the gods. And because you live in America and you probably don't have Greek ancestry, you do not have the right to worship the gods. It's a form of gatekeeping. It is this belief that because of our blood, we have the authority to determine who can worship the Greek gods and who cannot. There was a lot of explaining about why the Greeks in Greece feel the way they do about the gods and things like that, and deals with a lot of like being subjected by the Turks and the whole thing with the revolution and all that type of stuff. So there was a gentleman on YouTube. I'm not going to mention his name. He did a couple of videos. He's obsessed over Aliakai. I have no idea why he's obsessed over Aliakai, but he's obsessed over her. Every time that she does a video, he probably watches it, and then of course he will do a video if it ruffles his feathers. So one of the things that he did, a 33-second video, which basically made it very clear that unless you are an ethnic Hellenist, you cannot venerate and honor the gods. And there's a lot of Hellenists that do not seem to know this is viewpoint, or they ignore it because they don't want to acknowledge that he is a nationalist and everything. And he's also, he believes that, the Greek gods are only for the Greeks and everything and all that jazz. So because of the sheer amount of nationalism that's in Hellenism, especially if you watch a lot of the videos from some of the more, I would say, hardliners in Hellenism, you'll pick it up. And it's really weird is there was a book that came out several years ago that talked about all the different pagan paths, pagan religions, and the author said over and over and over again that you do not have to be ethnically, you don't have your ancestry doesn't have to be ethnically Norse or ethnically Greek or ethnically Italian or ethnically this or ethnically that to honor the gods. And it is the belief that these are dead cultures. Their religions died out a long time ago, and therefore it is not cultural appropriation. Though I will state one thing, they don't mention cultural appropriation as far as like religions like Wicca, which I really wish they would have, but it did give you a good foundation and understanding of each of these different paths, which is important, especially if you are looking at something other than Wicca. So when I asked this question, I explained to them about some of the nationalism that I have encountered in heathenism and in Hellenism, and they did acknowledge that it does in fact exist in those, in Hellenism, that there is a lot of nationalism in it. But in Italy, where Roman religion was the major religion, they had a very different view about this stuff. And also they made it very clear that the Romans did not have a concept of race or of the right kind of blood, all that. So the question that I asked was, is there nationalism in Roman religion? And the answer is, while the leaders have made it very clear that Roman religion is for everyone, there are people within the religion that does have nationalist views. It's not as widespread as in Greece because it was two different environments and two different things. So in essence, you would go to the temple no matter if you were a Roman or you were a visitor who was trading, and you would give an offering to the gods, and you would go about your business. And of course, homes had lallarums. Even if you were a slave, there was I believe they called a public lallarum, where even slaves could give an offering to the gods. I don't know where they were located at. I do know they existed, because slaves had to have a way of worshiping too, freedom of religion and all that jazz. So when you talk about when you have people that say, okay, we're the leaders of the group, and this is our stance on nationalism, this is our stance on blood, this is our stance on this, and we're not putting up with it, it doesn't get rid of the people that are within the organization that says, no, you have to be of this kind of blood. However, they do keep it to themselves. I have not yet encountered a post where somebody had said, well, you got to be Italian or you got to have Italian ancestry in order to venerate the Roman gods. In fact, I was looking up Lallarum, and there was actually a photo of a Roman shrine in Egypt. I think it was attached to the Temple of Ptah. And they would go there and they would give an offering, which shows how easy Rome was able to incorporate their religion into the religion that of the country they conquered. The Romans were notorious for adopting local deities, building temples to them. They were the ones who got the Celts to agree to statuary. Prior to the Roman invasion, there was no statuary. That is from what I've read. Their gods were out there in the groves. And then all of a sudden, when Rome came along and started to change things, then you see statuary. So it was, you had Celts who practiced a hybrid of Celtic and Roman religion, And these people weren't Italian, but they still venerated and honored the Roman gods, even if the Roman gods were attached to their Celtic gods. So even though there's a lot of emphasis on ethnic religion when we talk about Hellenismos, if you are interested in practicing a religion that doesn't have it, that has had people that have openly said that's not how we do it, then Roman religion is a good fit for you, especially if you're interested in the gods and goddesses of your ancestors. Now, my father was full-blooded Italian. He was full-blooded Italian, and I don't know if that includes other cultures or something. I don't know, but I do know for a fact my father was full-blooded Italian. I am a true half Italian, and just like my grandmother was a true half Native American or part Native American. And what I mean by that is that her mother was Native American, her father was white, was the white man. So if I'm following how these nationalists view, I can venerate the Roman gods, but I can't call them by their Greek names, or if I'm honoring the goddess Aphrodite as the Greek goddess and not the Roman goddess Diana, they'll kind of be like, really, you're venerating our deities and whatever. Yeah. So as I said, there is people that do believe in that you have to have Italian descent or Italian ancestry to venerate the Roman gods, but 98% of the Roman polytheists, they do not prescribe to that. And so oh man, I hate coughing. It's my COVID. So I did mention, I think about a month or so ago, about the Lalarum. I'm actually going to show you guys what my Lalarum looks like. I actually posted it on Roman Reformism, and I did get a couple people that liked it. I don't know the Roman names for some of the deities. I do know that Asclepios is the same as Greek and Roman. So I'm going to show that off. I do plan on, because I know there are Hellenists that have, I know one Hellenist has one, but I'm going to go back to that one site, and I'm going to get another Lalarum. I had to throw mine away. I'm not going to say the reason because I don't talk about that here. And no, it had nothing to do with my mother. Had nothing to do with my mother. She was already departed when that happened. But yeah. So I'm going to show you guys my Lalarum, and this is just to give people an idea. I'm gonna have to write down some names so that I'll be absolutely honest, I cannot pronounce the names of some of the things. So like a lot of the stuff that you would see on a Roman altar, I don't have on it because I'm not doing a ritual or anything like that. But it's, nationalism is a really bad thing for religions that are trying to gain some sort of fidelity, because there's people, like, you look at heathenism, for example, is everybody who wears Thor's hammer, people worry, are they a white nationalist? So nationalism is a very big problem, and it has a lot to do with this belief that there's cultural appropriation going on in neo-paganism, ignoring evidence that these religions are dead, and you are trying to reconstruct essentially a dead religion, which scholars will remind these nationalists, your religion is dead. It's not like Vodou or Santeria or Native American practices. You cannot claim cultural appropriation. Is cultural appropriation real? Yes, it is. But if you talk to any scholar, they will tell you Roman religion is dead, Celtic religion is definitely dead, Greek religion is dead, and they'll go on and on and on about the different, pre-Christian religions that are dead. So you can't say, oh, you're doing cultural appropriation, when a vast majority of the temples that were closed and destroyed were done by natives, Greeks, native Italians. They did a lot of bad stuff, and as much as you would like that not to be the case, it's the case, So, that's just how it is. That's just how it turned out. It isn't something that I like, but it's history, and you can't just ignore that because you want to. But yeah. So, as I said, if you're interested in just a religion where people are worshiping the gods and stuff like that, then Roman religion is perfect. The only time that I ever had any problems was when I posted, this was when my mother was still alive, she was at the hospital, and I had posted a photo of my lularum, and it was with a nice little thing, little lularum, which was really nice. And there was actually a guy that got on there and said that the reason that Rome yes, he said this, the reason that Rome fell is because they allowed their religion to become impure. Oh yeah, they said that. He said that, and people were like, you probably see everybody in Italy going, what? That is not why Rome fell. Yeah, he actually said that, which it's not true. There's a lot of stuff that caused the downfall of Rome. Definitely their large landmass they accumulated over time. So anyways, so that's the only time I ran into any kind of issues. Other than that, I have not yet encountered any kind of nationalism, any kind of video done by native Italians basically saying, oh, non-Italians can't venerate and honor the Roman gods. It's a completely different environment, very different ritual environment, and definitely a lot more costumes. Because in Italy they go to these sites. They even did a ritual one time at the street corner. It was raining and the guy was holding the umbrella, like, don't you have an umbrella? So, but yeah, it's very different. There's a much different relationship from, religious wise compared to over in Greece. So like Italy has much different relationship with neo-pagans and other people who venerate the gods compared to Greece. Alright, so I'm going to end here. My throat cannot take any more talking. I'm going to let my throat kind of rest, and then I will do the lularum. As I said, this is just an idea for people. my alarm is very different than it was 2 years ago. And it's just how it goes. And I do plan on to buy another one, especially after I saw there was a Hellenist that actually had one as well. Kind of a nod to the child of Greek religion, and everything. So I'll see you guys around. Until next time, may be happy, healthy, most importantly, be safe. And please be safe. And hail to the gods. Bye.